The works of God are revealed in history. That's one of the reasons it's so important to know history. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Hi, friend. Welcome to today's program. I recently had the privilege of having Joe Scheidler here in my studio, and I believe this is the 7th episode. We were together sitting here with the curtain drawn for over 3 hours. And it was just so wonderful. If you missed the other portions, any of them, and you want to see them, you can go to our website. In today's little chat, we talk about history, the history of Operation Rescue. History is written by victors. Often, it's written by those who were defeated, if the record of it can be squirreled away. But, for example, the history of the civil rights movement is a huge part of our culture, as it should be. And part of that is because they prevailed. They broke the back of the Jim Crow laws. They broke the back of segregation. They broke the back of the white Democrats keeping black people from voting in southern states. They prevailed. And so it's a part of our fiber. But there are portions of history where the protagonists were right, but they lost. And that portion of history is all but lost. I don't want that to happen with Operation Rescue and the pro-life movement. So today we talk about Operation Rescue, some things that you may not know, because we didn't win. They're still killing babies. Enjoy the program. We're 25 years past Operation Rescue's heyday. Why should people know about it today?
Because it was an earth-shattering invention, the rescue movement. It brought abortion to the attention of the American people like nothing else, except maybe Roe v. Wade announcement itself being a big shock. But it brought focus on the killing of children as a crime committed by our society. And it changed the whole tenor of the movement, and I think it changed more people than we'll know until we find out in the next world. People that actually began to think of abortion as a major issue, a major problem, a major evil in our society. I really think the rescue movement did that, and reference to it, memories of it, are talking about it 25 years later, has a very positive effect. It was a good thing. It was a necessary thing. And it is something that I think changed the whole direction of the abortion binge in this country. It made it obvious that people cared, that this was a real issue and would stay an issue.
In 1987, before the election of George Bush the Elder, child killing, when they polled the American people, child killing was not in the top 10 voter concerns. Did not show up in the top 10. And on election day 1988, a year later, the ABC exit poll in Atlanta showed that abortion was the #1 voter issue. And it was because all those rescues and all the protests and all the constant front page stories and...
Absolutely. It became an issue. And that's one of the most important things we had to do. Just keep turning to it. Keep turning people's attention on it. Whether we did it right, whether we did it wrong, whether it was the best way or the poor way, it kept it an issue. It made it an issue, and it kept it an issue. It had to be. It was so important. It was so devastating to our society, we couldn't overlook it. And they wanted to. The media wanted to hide it. Politicians wanted to hide it. The abortionists, of course, wanted to hide it. But we made it visible, and we kept it visible.
I often tell people, I have people come up and congratulate me for my work in the pro-life movement, and I turn to them and say, we failed. We didn't succeed. Our goal was to make it a crime again to kill babies. Recently, a friend of mine kind of rebuked me and said, you need to stop saying that, because you did accomplish some things and it's not over yet. Do you have that tug of war going on in your soul?
I don't have it as much as you do, because I watched you even during the heydays, and you were more negative toward what you wanted to accomplish and accomplishing it than we were. I saw great things happening when you would be complaining, and I thought, this guy doesn't get it. He's moving the country, and he wants to move it maybe more obviously, maybe more suddenly, maybe more completely, but he's doing it. He's doing it. And they say anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. Well, I don't say you did it poorly. You may not have done it perfectly, but you did it. And the attention was drawn to abortion, and is still on it. You can't get away from it. It's still an issue. Everybody has to let their position be known. That's an accomplishment right there.
Thank you. It's hard for me. I really thought we'd have prevailed by now. I know that. I thought that we would have. 91 is where the moment came when we went to Wichita, went up to see Bush in Maine, and Judge Kelly was hammering us in Wichita, and I think that's where we blinked. I think that's the moment that we started to lose the momentum. When Judge Kelly told all those pastors, he said, I'm going to take your churches, I'm going to take your daycare centers, I'm going to take your Christian schools. And there was a collective, okay, we'll back off. I felt like that was, and then when they passed FACE, the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, that broke our back. You know, the lawsuits piling up was one factor. And then the blinking in Wichita, and then the passage of FACE under Bill Clinton, that really dropped the hammer on us.
Those were all incidents in an overall picture. It was going to happen eventually. You weren't going to get away with that forever. I think it served its purpose. It was effective. It's still remembered, and it didn't end the battle. It changed it. But you still have people coming in, fighting, writing, going to the clinics, talking to the women, your crisis pregnancy centers, the literature, the books. The issue's alive. We went through a phase. Maybe that was only supposed to be a phase of an overall movement. I didn't feel as despondent or at a loss as maybe you did. I kind of saw that coming, and I was surprised it didn't come sooner.
If you own a business and would like to advertise on our program, please contact us. We are currently seen on over 130 television stations from coast to coast. We air at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then all times are local. We have a lot of reach, friend, and this is an opportunity at a great price for you to get your product or your service in front of hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people. Also, if there's something that's important to you and you'd like to have a month where you just say thank you to this ministry or promote a certain ministry or a certain cause, contact us. Our rates are incredibly affordable. You'd be surprised. And you, again, can reach into hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of homes. We're currently seen possibly in over 30 million homes. So give us a call, give us an email, and we'll put a commercial up for you.
We got away with a lot.
We did. Janet Reno, when she was nominated and then confirmed under Bill Clinton, the Attorney General Janet Reno said that her number one priority was to break Operation Rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And they came after us. I was at a funeral recently and was filming people giving testimony of a friend who had died, but also just giving their testimony in the pro-life movement. And I started to weep because almost every single person who talked, their activism was the direct fruit of Operation Rescue.
Right.
They were directly connected to, at some level, some relationship, some video that they saw, to Operation Rescue. And they're still going today.
Operation Rescue still lives. It's alive today. It's a piece of history, but it's a living piece of history because the battle's not over, the war's not over. So Operation Rescue was a major part of the overall battle against abortion, and it still is a major part. And you still have veterans, you still have people that are envious, that wish they'd been part of it. I wish I had been more of a part of it, you know, had taken part in more of these. I miss Cherry Hill like mad. I was going to that and didn't, and several others. But the important thing is it's part of an overall motion toward life, motion toward respect for life. It's coming. It's coming, and this is all part of it. So God wins.
I wanted us to see it together.
Yeah.
I wanted us in this life, you, Joe Scheidler, and me, I wanted us to see the end of child killing with our own eyes. And it's starting to look a little bleak for me.
Don't let it. Don't let it. You've got a long time to go.
If I can live as long as you, maybe I'll get to see it.
And I'm not yet dead yet.
No, you're looking pretty good to me.
So let's keep our spirits up. The thing is, time means nothing to God. God wins in the end. It all comes out in the end. And that's what we're aiming toward, the ultimate conversion, the ultimate return to God.
I just want there to be less bloodshed. That's the issue.
Of course. And you've made there less bloodshed. There is less bloodshed because of Randy Terry, and maybe even because of Joe Scheidler to some extent.
One would think.
And we hope so. But we leave it in God's hands. In manibus Dei. That was my uncle's motto as a bishop. In manibus Dei, in the hands of God. That's where it ultimately ends up. We try to help put it there. Operation Rescue was an act of daring. It was an act of putting yourself right in the middle of the fight, in the middle of the battle between good and evil. And it was taking the side of good and putting it into action. And it was a daring, a risk. You never knew. You never knew what might happen along the way that might make it more costly, but you didn't care. You were going to do it. And I remember the people at the Operation Rescue standing in front of the clinics, being arrested. These were people that were willing to go beyond what would ordinarily be required, just feeling bad about something or being against something or speaking against something. They put their body with where their mouth was. And they did something, something that was a sacrifice. And I think that sacrifice itself carried a great deal of weight. It was a prayer. The action became a prayer, and I think God smiled on it. I think he still does. I think he still smiles on those people that were willing to do that and are now doing other things, but still active in the pro-life movement, and will remain so until death. We're active pro-lifers. Even if we're not sitting in front of a clinic, our heart's there, our mind's there, and our attitude is always pro-life.
Friend, this program is supported by friends like you who believe in what we are doing. We run a very tight ship. Thankfully, we are on over 130 stations across the country, having tremendous impact. We get emails every day. We get letters in the mail, not every day, but almost every day. We hear from people who love what we're doing. What people don't understand is that it's sort of expensive to produce a television show like this. It doesn't require earth-shattering funds, but it does require financial help. So I am asking you, if you enjoy this program, throw us a $10 or a $20 bill every once in a while, or even a $50 or a $100 check. You see the address there on the screen. Your gifts are not tax deductible, by the way, because we want to be able to say what we want to say regarding politics without the IRS telling us no. So if you like the program, I ask for your support. In social revolution, peaceful social revolution, there are rules. And those rules have been established by social revolutions of the past, and the Christian community in America has failed to obey a lot of those rules, and that's why we keep losing. I put together Insurrecta Next, a 14-part television series on the history and the theology of social revolution. I encourage you to watch it. It will make you a force for righteousness, for social revolution. Have you ever had a mother come back to you who you had talked out of killing her baby?
Yeah, that's not uncommon. I get that more than I would expect, that they're willing to say they were going to have an abortion and they'll have the child there. And it is a wonderful feeling to see a living, cute human being that would have been dead.
What did the mom say to you?
Well, they thank you. They say, thanks for being there. I'm glad you were there that day. I wouldn't have Susie or Billy or whatever. That's not really that uncommon. I kind of take it for granted at times that this was a baby that was scheduled for abortion. But one of our group or me or somebody, I don't know if, I don't take it real personally because I figure it's the movement. The movement has saved lives, and I know that. It's a lot of lives. And so once in a while, you get introduced to one of these lives, and it's a great experience.
Well, being the godfather...
And you've had it. You've had it.
I have. But being the godfather of the movement, you get credit for the movement in part.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
I had a woman come up to me, 2 different women, come up to me and show me their babies who saw me when we were on Oprah together.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
One white lady and one African-American lady
Great.
came up to me within a year of each other and held their babies out. And I met them both, got pictures with them. These are babies that were saved because of Operation Rescue and because we were on Oprah. And they were scheduled to have abortions.
You did a great job on Oprah, I remember that. And we were passing a little fetal model around to the crowd, remember? And Oprah was trying to catch it. She had her policeman there. So
and Molly Yard, she was
Molly.
Just, poor Molly. She was crazy. She was defending forced abortion in China.
Yeah, I felt sorry for Molly.
I wrote her a sympathy card while she was dying in the hospital. And even afterwards, some of the NOW people came up to me and said, we laughed when you sent it. We thought about auctioning it to raise money for the NOW.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, they were a sad group.
Tell us about the spiritual dynamic. Obviously, we're trying to save a baby, but we're motivated, you and I know are, because of our love for Christ and our fear of God. We're going to stand before God and give an account for what we've done and what we failed to do. Talk to those who don't see this as a spiritual discipline.
How anybody cannot see the spiritual dimension of the abortion battle is beyond me. We're talking here about the most basic principles, life and death. You know, the universe is endless, but we know one little planet that has people on it, and those people are what God is interested in. The whole universe is for us, is for people. And people's lives matter. We're put here for a purpose. We were created by God with a purpose to come to know Him, love Him, serve Him on this earth so that we can be happy with Him forever in eternity in heaven. That's God's plan. We are to know Him. We can't know Him unless we are given life and grow up and learn about Him. Abortion cuts that possibility off. The most basic activity to come to know God is cut off by some selfish act. Somebody wanting their way instead of God's way. So in a sense, they've cut themselves off from God's plan. They're outside God's plan, and they're going to have to work to get back.
I want to invite you to go to our website. Almost every book that I have ever written is available as a PDF online for free. We have a ton of products, training materials, tools that are available for you for free. All we ask for is that you give us your email address. That's it, so that we can stay in touch with you and, yes, from time to time, ask you to support this work. So I'm inviting you, go to the website. Now, for those of you who say, well, I don't want a PDF, I want a real book. You can get one of my books. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling, and then give whatever gift you want. And if you can't afford anything, we'll send you the book for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to change the direction of the country, and we need to raise up a fresh generation of warriors to do that. That's why we have this tool. I invite you, go to the website, see for yourself.
So that then becomes their work in life to regain God's love and God's working with them. And that's the way I see it. I see it as it's a God thing. Abortion is not just killing a baby. Abortion is frustrating God's plan. People may not see it that way, and they're selfish, and they put God aside. But God is everything, and His plan is all important, and we have to cooperate with it, bring up children. He says, increase and multiply and fill the earth. That's from God. That's His order to us, one of the few things He told us to do, increase and multiply and fill the earth. And we say, no, we're going to decrease. We're even going to take the increase and cut it off. Abortion is the ultimate evil because it is contrary to God's plan. Doesn't mean He doesn't forgive, doesn't mean that at all. And it doesn't mean that people aren't stupid and misled and misguided and so on. But we're talking here about the very essence of being, of God's plan for mankind. And that's why I think it's the most important battle that we're fighting today.
What word would you say to those who agree with what we're saying and then say, I want to run for office because I want to get in office and I want to be a guy who casts a vote to make it a crime again to kill a baby and to restore the protection of life? What would you say to those considering public office?
Go for it. Absolutely. If you have the wherewithal at all, and the background and the money and so on, go for office and change the laws, as many have. Look at Henry Hyde, tireless. We had some great leaders, Chris Smith, still working hard, and others who make this a major issue, and are accomplishing great things and saving lives, and by changing the laws. And we've had some great victories.
Friend, I hope that this is an inspiration to you. We're looking for young men and women who will step in the gap and fulfill what Joe and I started.
you.